This is Jarrod Horak for the RunawayHorse.com, and we're going to talk about some Kentucky Derby contenders in this video. We're a little more than 2 weeks away from Kentucky Derby 2017, and if you're interested in purchasing my full card analysis for Kentucky Derby Day from Churchill Downs, go over to the RunawayHorse.com and you'll find that full card there. Soon I also sell daily full cards from Santa Anita Park, but that big annual full card that I always sell with all that information for Kentucky Derby and for the whole card for Churchill Downs for Kentucky Derby Day will be available on Kentucky Derby week at the RunawayHorse.com. Now, some of the contenders, I think some of the main contenders in the Derby this year, a lot of people are confused that they don't really know maybe which horse they like and where the horses are coming from that they think should be the top contenders. But I think that Gulfstream Park had one of the key races this year, and maybe that will be the key to finding the Derby winner. You have to go back to February 4th of the Holy Bull Stakes. It ended up being, I think, one of the key races on the Derby Trail this year. You had Irish Warcry win that one nicely. He was able to go right out to the front. He looked so good and powerful throughout winning that one. And then your second place finisher had a little bit of trouble rallying from off the pace was Gunnevera. And your third place finisher was your 2-year-old champion, Classic Empire. Now let's see how all three of those horses have come out of that race. We had Irish Warcry. He disappointed a bit in the Fountain of Youth, but then he really bounced back with a nice win in the Wood Memorial, beating Battalion Runner, another South Florida-based colt who had been running at Gulfstream Park. So again, you're going to see that Gulfstream Park horses have been doing well on the road to the Kentucky Derby. So Irish Warcry earned a good speed figure in the Wood Memorial. He earned a good speed figure in the Holy Bull. If you can just draw a line through that Fountain of Youth, he looks like a solid Kentucky Derby contender. He's got early pressing versatility, good pedigree. Graham Motion, his trainer, has won the Derby before. So I think Irish Warcry looks like a solid Kentucky Derby contender this year. Now your second place finisher in the Holy Bull, Gunnevera, he came back and he won the Fountain of Youth. He beat Irish Warcry and others, and he looked really good winning that race, rallying from off the pace and rolling home powerfully. Now, we haven't had that many horses be able to rally from off the pace on the Derby Trail this year, but Gunnevera is certainly one of those horses. He's consistent, he has a good late run, and he's one to watch for in the Derby. Now, he disappointed a bit in the Florida Derby, but he had an outside post. He didn't get as much pace help as he would like, and he already had the points to make it into the Kentucky Derby at that point, so that wasn't a bad effort, finishing third. And then your winner in that one, Always Dreaming, was so impressive for trainer Todd Pletcher. That was one of the most impressive runs on the Derby Trail this year. So he beat one of the Derby favorites. He ran against one of the Derby favorites in Always Dreaming. He rallied to finish third from that outside post. So Gunnevera should get pace help on the first Saturday in May, and he looks like a solid Derby threat. Now, Classic Empire looked like he was going to be in big trouble. Last year he looked great. You know, he won the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. He won the Breeders' Futurity. He was your 2-year-old champion. He made his first start of the year, but he only had 4 workouts coming into the Holy Bull. He was flat, and then he came out of the Holy Bull with a foot issue, as he had problems with his feet, and then so they missed the Fountain of Youth, and then they brought him back, and out of that race they brought him back, and they tried to get him to work again during the month of March. He struggled. He wouldn't. He refused to work a couple times. They took him to the farm. They were able to finally get him back on track. Then they finally got that last Derby prep in the Arkansas Derby, and he was able to grind out a win there. Speed figure wasn't spectacular. The stretch run wasn't pretty, but he is back on track, and he has that 2-year-old class. Just a question of, can he overcome everything that he's been through this year with only a couple races? He's only had 9 or 10 workouts the whole year. So in the last 5 months, only a couple races and only 9 works. So he's got a lot going against him, but we know he has class, and he's one worth following. So I think that Florida Trail, looking especially the Gulfstream horses, and especially that Holy Bull with Irish Warcry, Gunnevera, and Classic Empire, proving that race was so strong. They all came out of that race, and they won some key Derby preps on the road to Kentucky Derby 17. So I think watch for all 3 of those horses on Derby Day. I think they all have a shot. Classic Empire, because of his setbacks, maybe a less shot than the other 2. But Irish Warcry, Gunnevera, solid contenders. Classic Empire, your 2-year-old champion. Watch for all 3 of those horses on the first Saturday in May. If you're interested in joining my email list, you can send me an email at therunawayhorse2013@gmail.com. You can join my email list. From there, I send emails out. I occasionally free full cards, free bonus, free picks, things like that I'll be sending to you if you're interested in joining that email list. And you can go over to the RunawayHorse.com and click on my sales page if you're interested in my full card analysis daily from Santa Anita Park, plus bonus races from around the country. I also have my Kentucky Derby 2017 blog at therunawayhorse.com. Also free picks daily as well from Santa Anita Park. So you can go over to the runawayhorse.com to find out more information. Now that'll wrap up this video. We'll be back next week with another Derby Contenders video as we get closer and closer to Kentucky Derby 2017.